Welcome to Jessica Payne Live. I'm going to give it a few minutes just to get it set up here as we are going on air a little earlier today. So welcome everyone. Hello if you're watching live right now. Again, I'm here in Los Angeles, California, the beautiful United States of America, but I know that I've got some wonderful viewers around the world, so I'll give you a chance to sit down, grab a coffee, grab a cocktail, depending on where you are in the world. If you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much for joining me. A lot of my audience actually watches it on the replay. So this one is for you. I've got a great show coordinated for today. It's just me. The last several shows have been interviews. We've got a great one coming up next week with Little White Lies rock star Karen Gracer. So give me a minute later to actually plug that. But take a minute, sit down. Today, I'm just gathering my notes. We're going to talk a little bit about a fun experiment that I have been running for the past 30 days on Facebook, specifically for my benefit and actually yours. And it really is to help answer the question I get a lot from my clients, I get a lot from my readers about my engagement has stalled or people are not interacting on my page. I know Facebook's up to something. What kind of content do I need to focus on so that I get engagement back up? That is the big question. So I've been tinkering around. I'm a bit of a scientist, and it's not like I've cracked the formula, but I've figured out a few things that I want to impart with you today. So again, take a few minutes, get settled, and we'll rock and roll in just a few minutes as I sort of gather my notes. All right. How's everybody doing? I received some beautiful comments last week from folks tuning in from Europe. Thank you so much for that. It sounds like a lot of you are really enjoying the interviews. So I'm just going to keep that format. And when I don't have a guest on during the week, it'll be just me. Today, it'll be a little shorter, but it's always going to be strategic and always designed so that you guys can tune in and actually get something of value. And again, I'm a little early today if you are watching live, just because I know I have a lot of people in South Africa, a lot of people in Europe, a lot of people in the UK. And it's not always great to go on live when you guys are going to bed or going out for drinks after work. So hopefully this will work for you. It really is designed for you today. And of course, everywhere. So if you're just tuning into the show for the first time, I am Jessica Payne. I am an award-winning branded digital strategist. I run my own practice here in the States, clients around the world. My emphasis really is on focusing on being real, not perfect. We need more real brands out there, real people making positive change. So if there's something I can impart with you on this broadcast or on my website so that you can go out and run an amazing business or just exude confidence and be authentic in your personal brand, I can go to bed happy. How does that sound? All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to walk you through basically what my biggest insight is after running a 30-day experiment. And again, if you're just tuning in, the experiment was brought up. I started it about 4 weeks ago. And it came around basically the 50th time I'd heard someone vent to their frustration about watching their engagement dip or stall on social media. And I'm going to focus specifically on Facebook today, but I'm hearing it across the board from my clients. They're saying, hey, we just executed a highly successful advertising campaign. I've got my followers. I'm driving traffic to my website. What's up with social media? What's up with Facebook? I'm not seeing any traction whatsoever. I'm pumping out all the great content you're telling me to put out. Nada. So what I started to do was I after about the 50th time hearing that and actually experienced it on my own brand, I knew that something was up. What you've probably heard, whether you follow social media headlines or not, and that's why I'm here to kind of give you the top line, you've probably heard of Facebook's algorithm. And let me just grab my rocket fuel here. I had a great guest on last week, Karen Newland from Your Go-To Gals. Scroll down to my page. If you're watching me on YouTube, jump over to my Facebook page, Jessica Payne Official, or if you're on my Facebook page, go ahead and jump over and look at that interview. It's what I did last week with Karen. She schooled me and you on basically the realities of Facebook's algorithm. Basically, what you need to know is there are a lot of changes at work, but Facebook is a business. Like any social platform, they need to keep people on their social network. So they're going to prefer certain behaviors from users over the other. And so what basically happened was, if you jumped on Facebook for Business a couple of years ago, you probably thought it was pretty easy to get your content in front of your followers. It was pretty easy to actually gain followers too. And you've probably experienced that as more people join Facebook, as more people are competing for that space, it's more and more difficult. On top of that, Facebook is now kind of changing its features. So we sort of wake up one morning and realize, oh, that button's no longer there. Or oh, now that feature's gone. Or now it's all of a sudden costing more money to target the same people I've already targeted. And again, you don't need a heavy background in advertising to understand that, but what you're feeling are the natural evolutions of what Facebook has decided to change about its business model. You're also seeing other really interesting things. New features are coming out that they want us to use, stuff like Facebook Live. So if you've jumped on and you've shot a Facebook Live, give yourself a high five. I think that is one of your biggest opportunities right now. But what that shows you is Facebook, at the end of the day, they want more people to use their social network. They're competing, right? They're competing with themselves. They're competing with YouTube. They're competing with Instagram. They're competing with Snapchat. They want you to stay on the network. So if you run a business page or a successful profile, if you post certain types of content, they actually like that. Anything you can do to keep people on your page. So the purpose of today's broadcast is for me to kind of enlighten you in terms of what I have learned. This 30-day experiment was essentially me making a conscious choice to go from posting almost daily content, certainly weekly content, that ranged. I would link to a blog post, I would post a video, I would do a Friday Facebook Live casual video, and other things, to making a conscious choice. So starting about 4 weeks ago, I said, you know what? I know that Facebook prefers video. If you think about it in the hierarchy in terms of what Facebook is doing, it kind of makes sense. If you joined Facebook years ago, like I did when it first became public, you really only posted static content, written content. And then very quickly, we pretty much had the ability to post images. Okay, great. And then we had the ability to kind of link out, right? You remember linking to your first news article you shared, or maybe even linking into a YouTube. A lot of people still do it. I still do it. It's great. But you have to keep in mind that's actually taking people away from Facebook's network. It still drives engagement because we all like to read that content, but remember, Facebook might prefer something else. We also have the ability to upload video directly onto Facebook. That is probably the most favorite and preferred content for Facebook because they know that video drives the most engagement across the board, across social. And if you upload it to Facebook, nobody's going anywhere. They are staying on the social network. So Facebook's algorithm actually prefers you do that. If there's anything on top of just Facebook native video that it prefers, it's their Facebook Live feature, which kind of makes sense. When Apple comes out with a new iPhone, they want you to buy it. Okay, when there's a new app on Android, they want you to download it. So when there's a new feature on Facebook, they want you to use it. So naturally, the more people using their hottest features are going to see a couple of things happen. Their reach is going to be exponential, because Facebook's algorithm is like, awesome, they're using Facebook and Facebook Live. Let's push this bad boy out because it's going to get a lot of engagement. And they're also going to see another thing out. So your reach is going to expose you to more audiences. All right. So that's the secret sauce to brand discoverability, getting you outside your normal followers, your normal base, which is key if you want to grow followers and introduce yourself to new audiences. And you're also going to see another thing happen. You're going to see engagement on your page increase again. The stuff that's kind of gone away, right? If you're like me or like other people, remember you're seeing your engagement stall. What you're going to start to see is if you start to shoot more video or live video, you're going to see that engagement come up. And this is really, really interesting because I think it's highlighting a challenge that we're going to have to face going forward. And all it means for you as a business owner or someone who wants to see engagement on their page, you just need to pay attention to the new bells and whistles coming out for Facebook. Don't worry so much about tweaking the algorithm or trying to discover it or it's the secret sauce. Just pay attention to the new bells and whistles coming out for Facebook because obviously those are going to be the ones that it prefers you do. So let me just sort of walk back and explain to you what I experienced on this 30-day experiment. I had one, I basically ran a sort of, did the scientific method. You know, I was hypothesizing around the fact that I'm pretty sure that video, that if I focus on posting the majority of my content via video, I'm going to see that reach and that engagement increase. And I was right. So here's what I want to teach you today. I'm not saying you need to jump in front of a camera right now. It's amazing what the word video does to people, I think, emotionally. Unlike any other medium where we can sort of hide behind a lens, video requires you to be visible. And as someone who's always struggled with visibility, that can be a deep thing. So instead of me just saying, okay, you need to get on video, let's talk about first what video can be. So if you want some hard data, here's what I experienced. For 4 weeks, I basically relaxed. I put my planned editorial content to the side. So even though I was writing blog posts or whatever, I decided to make a conscious effort for the next 4 weeks, the past 4 weeks, to focus on video. So I posted several different kinds. I continue to do Facebook Lives, sort of casual from my phone. I launched my Be Live show, which is here. And it was strategic about it, actually bringing people on as guests that I was tagging, right? So that's another kind of video. It's live video. And then I also was still continuing to sort of link to my other videos. And those were primarily from YouTube and whatnot. And I experienced, the first week alone, I experienced engagement shooting up by like almost 1,000%, which sounds insane, but I was sort of starting from small numbers. I'm also seeing a few other things. I haven't been running an ad campaign for a couple months now. I did a big push over the summer. We saw some numbers go up, and then I've been sort of on hiatus. Now, a good piece of advice if you're running ads is to try to always kind of have something running in the background if you can, if you have the budget. You know, you can do $5 to $10 a day, and what you'll see is you'll just see a natural 1, 2, 3, 4 likes come in every single day. It's a nice way to kind of set it and forget it and continue to grow your followers. But here's something really interesting I found out. By just my live interview sessions, just by posting at least 1 live video a week. So we're really only talking about 4 videos, and we're really only talking about a time commitment of like an hour a week. Okay, because it's a live interview video. I'm bringing in the same number, if not more, of casual organic growth followers on my page each week without an ad campaign running in the background. All right, so let me just repeat that. By making a conscious choice to put video as my primary method of content on my page, just my Facebook page, and focusing on using this live presentation platform, bringing interviews on. I've done about 4 or 5 of the past several weeks, maybe 6. Just doing that alone, just engagement from that alone, I'm bringing the same organic growth on my Facebook profile that a very low level background advertising campaign would. So what does that mean? I'm not saying it replaces advertising, but what I'm telling you is there are a lot more ways than just throwing money at advertising that you can contribute to the organic growth of your page. I experienced exponential engagement growth. I'm seeing engagement and followers happen not just on my Facebook page. So I'm seeing more people follow my page. I'm seeing comments. I'm getting DMs, private messages. I'm having amazing people on who are then sharing the experience with their network, who I then track back and see they're actually bringing people to follow my page, not just my Facebook page, but I've experienced the same followers hopping over to my Instagram, following me on Twitter, emailing me at my website. So it's a beautiful thing. I think if you're strategic and you can embrace video, you're going to kind of unlock some of these challenges that you may be experiencing. So again, over the last 4 weeks, I made a conscious effort to just experiment with video and on my Facebook page. And I decided to focus on several types of video. Live, like this setting, whether it's myself or interviewing someone, setting up actual interviews, the talk show format. linking out to either my own YouTube videos or, or podcast videos that are on YouTube, my own videos still, but kind of the old fashioned kind of link through. And then other videos like doing a casual Facebook Live, just like on my phone. And I'm telling you that the engagement increased, my organic growth is increasing. And not only that, but there's also other byproducts of that. I've met some incredible people who are now inviting their network to expose my own. And I've brought in a few new clients. So the rule of thumb, I think, for my biggest lesson that I've learned is, and one of my biggest challenges is getting out of my own way. I think we put a tremendous amount of pressure on ourselves to kind of invent stuff, invent our funnel, invent our clients, create something out of nothing that's going to be the answer to our own success, whether it's in relationships, business, or brands. And what I found was a conscious effort to just sit back a little and look around my networks and be a little bit more strategic about maybe the type of content or the type of way that I was trying to create value for my community actually paid off. So that's kind of my biggest lesson for today is if you haven't yet, I strongly I urge you to embrace video, because you're going to hear about it for the next couple months. There's going to be prediction pieces for brands. You're also going to see a ton of talking heads. You're going to see a ton of people like me. You're going to see a ton of people interviewing other people. And I'm not so crazy about that. I sat in on a beautiful interview yesterday where they were talking about the power of humor, the power of comedy, the power of being real on these interview platforms. And I loved it because as much as I love video, I know everyone and their brother is going to embrace this platform. So Facebook essentially, if we're not creative, is going to turn into basically like a news desk, which I think has its benefits, because if you're tuning into someone, you want to see them and you want to interact. But it's not always, if it's a bunch of talking heads, I think if you're creative, you're actually going to be able to stand out. Or if you're just yourself, we're not broadcast journalists. It's not my background. And it's probably not yours. You run a business or you have a personal brand. Lean back into who you are, use your own voice, use your own talents, and just focus on delivering what people want to hear. That's going to help improve their lives in business. It's not rocket science. This broadcast today is based off of questions that I get a lot. That's the reason why I'm talking about it today versus, really diving into the deep end of other stuff on Facebook. So that's sort of my lesson for today is sort of, really embrace video and just consider sort of playing around with it. If you haven't shot a Facebook Live video, it's probably the easiest thing that you can try that has the greatest potential for impact, but really is like no risk to you. So if there's one thing you do today, I'm going to challenge you to do at least one live video. I use a platform called Be Live, and it's great because for me, it's professional. Shoot one live video. That's my challenge for you today. Cash. Pull your car over, put it in park, grab your phone, shoot a live video. If you're on your lunch break, take a walk, shoot a live video. If you're at the office, shoot a live video. But here's the thing: don't overthink it. Just do a brief intro like I do. Hi, welcome to Jessica Payne Live. Have a couple talking points that aren't selling anything. This is not your opportunity to sell. This is your opportunity to help improve the lives of your followers, okay? Give just 3 pieces of advice. Talk about your day. Talk about, if you don't run a business, talk about your day. Talk about a lesson you've learned that you can impart on your viewers. Do a quick outro. Tell people where they can go to get more information, and you're done. You can shoot a Facebook Live video in 5 minutes. If you are considering embracing a platform like Be Live or Zoom, I strongly encourage it, because at the end of the day, Facebook prefers video right now. So it's going to be your biggest opportunity. And, there's some, depending on the platform you use, like Be Live, I subscribe to that. I pay for that service. There's little overhead, and it basically, it pays for itself almost immediately. right? So video is going to be your best friend. Can I school you on and I say school with love because like basically I've been schooled, so I want to impart knowledge to you. So we've talked about video, and I want to shed some light on another experiment that I've been running. And this one is more, it has driven the engagement on pages, and it has contributed to follower growth. But this one is specific to my bottom line. So I know a lot of you are probably thinking, engagement's great, Jessica, but I need to sell more product. And I get it. Like, we all have objectives why we run our business. So another experiment that I've been performing is around collaboration. And you've heard that word before. You might have even heard the whole term, collab. And I think my biggest lesson is that collabs work and drive business. Now, collabs are kind of like partnerships, okay? So, but if you are creative and you understand the nuances of social media and you use that as a platform to make connections, the sky's the limit in terms of what you can do for your bottom line. So here's another experiment I've been running the past month, 2 months really. Again, and it goes back to that pressure we put upon ourselves to think we have to invent something out of nothing to contribute to our business. Oh, I have to create this brilliant ad campaign, or, oh, I need to go sponsor an event, or, oh, I need to create a brand new content strategy, which, if you don't have one, that's fine. But a lot of times what I have learned is that you're already sitting on a network of people that are invested in you, that you already have their attention. And if you're just creative and strategic and put value as sort of your driving force, then you don't have to invent anything to create new business. I had a great conversation over the weekend with my mom, and we were talking about, I was kind of sharing with her this strategy I've been using. And essentially what it is, it's rather than sort of join more networks or go out and do more speaking events, which all of that contributes, by the way. It was really just kind of leaning back and looking around my network as it already exists, looking at the groups I follow on Facebook, looking at my email list, looking at my current clients, looking at my newsletter subscriptions, and seeing who's already there, and sort of rather than selling at them, sending them one more email, it was sort of like, well, let me jump into those spaces and see if anyone wants to collaborate, purely for the purpose of, hey, you scratch your back, I'll scratch your back, you scratch mine. And what made that super simple was my show. I run this show, Jessica Payne Live, and obviously booking guests for that show is an ongoing need, an ongoing challenge, and I love it. I get to put my producer hat on. And so I have a need to fill a guest slot every week, at least once a week. And rather than me sort of sweat that out, all I have to do is go to the Facebook groups I belong to, my network, my email list, and just reach out to people and say, hey, who wants to jump on the show? Talk about your business. Let's improve the lives of my audience. And they understand the value of, like, okay, you jump on my show, I'll promote it, I'll push you out to your network, you tag me. It's like anything I can do to promote your business. It's actually made booking guests super simple. I think that's another challenge I am hearing. People panic when they think they have to create a show. You just put the word producer on it, people's eyes just glaze over. People want to collaborate with you, especially if you're successful, whether they've been a client or not. That's what I'm finding. I'm finding people have interest of just coming on the show, even if they're in between product launches. They just want visibility and they want to learn. They want to use the show as an example of sort of trying out a new platform. So I think, collaboration has become a huge opportunity for me in my pipeline. So my lesson to you is sort of like, if you haven't considered using social media purely just to find partners to collaborate with creatively, that is a huge opportunity. For me, it's led to new business. It not only fills the seats when I need guests for my show, But also, it's been an amazing opportunity for me. It's such an easy icebreaker. I think we get really, really nervous when we want to reach out to people, and it's probably because we think we have to sell them into something. But if you're trying to fill guests for a show or book guests, and it's something that's of value to them, chances are they're going to say yes. I follow a lot of influencers on social, and right now they're just pushing collaborations, partnerships. I'll just shoot a casual Instagram message to someone and say, hey, do you want to collaborate? And 9 times out of 10, they're like, yeah, what do you got? Like, what do you want to do? It doesn't always work out. Sometimes they're in between product launches, or maybe they're, through the conversation, we realize they're really not at the right place, or my show might not be the right platform. But I've accomplished 2 things. I now have a connection with someone that I'm just going to follow as an entrepreneur, and we follow each other now. So you've increased your followers. There's sort of a warm audience, and you'll see they'll actually jump over to your website and start to follow you. And I've actually seen people jump over from Instagram and join as an audience member on my show. So I think part of it is just, again, the lesson is get out of your own way and try to see social media as truly a social platform, not just as one where you need to sit and drive sales. That's the objective at the end of the day, but there are so many ways that you can leverage social media just by being yourself and using collaboration. So today, if I had to recap, it was sort of 2 things. One is embrace video. And I'm going to challenge you to, if you haven't already, shoot 1 live video. 5 minutes. Intro, who you are. Couple talking points. Sit down, you prep beforehand. Make sure you have a strong internet connection. Have good lighting. Go for it. If you hate it, you can delete it. But just get familiar with that platform. It's the way to go now. If you can, do 1 live video. If you're not comfortable doing live video, shoot a video on your phone and then post it, like actually upload it to Facebook. Just so you can just familiarize yourself with what that is. Get that down to muscle memory. If you're watching me on YouTube and you don't use Facebook, do it on YouTube or flip over to Instagram. Okay, so just shoot a live video. Instagram does have live, which if you guys are on Instagram, you know that. I'm a huge fan of Instagram stories. Oh, they're amazing. They're basically, if you don't know, they're basically like Facebook Live, but you can shoot it in little vignettes, and it's fantastic. It's one of my favorite platforms. It gets me out in front of people. I can say my piece. Mine are a little bit more cash, but they're great. So 1 live video, if you can this week, embrace it just to get used to it. And then my other lesson is collaboration works and drives business. So I teased in the invite to this. I was saying this. This is my 2018 plan, by the way. Video, 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 and collaboration. I'm still running my business. I'm still going to be launching ad campaigns. You're going to see me round out my content. My other type of content is going to come back, but you're going to see a huge focus, a huge shift in my content for video. And that is because, again, if you're just joining, I ran a 30-day experiment where I pulled back all other pieces of content and I focused primarily on posting nothing but video, live video via this platform and Facebook Live, and linking out to videos on my other YouTube. And I saw engagement increase exponentially. I'm driving the same, at least level of organic growth and followers on my page that I would if I was running an ad campaign, which I'm not right now, by the way. So anything I do on top of that, it's going to like increase that. And I saw actual, the residual effects of that were an increase in traffic to my website because I'm linking back to it. And a beautiful thing, just organic growth and engagement on my other social channels, right? Because every time I had a guest on, we would tag them and their network immediately sees mine. And all it takes is, again, a little overhead because I pay for the platform, but honestly, it's basically just my time organizing my shows, thinking more about my posts, getting creative, and posting. So if you're looking for a way to kind of drive your engagement and drive your followers, and you're not using video or you're not using collaboration, think about using them together. And if you're not ready yet, make this, now is the best time for you to plan for 2018. It really is your biggest and best opportunity. Okay. We had some beautiful insight from Karen Newland last week on Facebook's algorithm. If you are, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a few questions of that, jump over to my Facebook page at Jessica Payne Official. I'll put the handle here. Doing this on the fly, solo today, y'all. Here's my handle here. If you're watching me on YouTube or other channels, Jessica Payne Official over at Facebook. Just scroll down, you'll see that interview with Karen. She gives so much insight on Facebook. So if you want to jump into the weeds, that is the interview that you want to follow. Okay. So pretty much wrapping here, looking to ahead in terms of what you can focus on. I thought I'd take the last couple minutes to talk about 2018 and what else you might want to consider as you try to succeed on social media or succeed with your brand or your business. I think next week I've got a beautiful treat for you in terms of a guest who's really going to help drive that conversation. You've been hearing me talk all year about brand and authenticity, but sometimes it's a little tricky when those words are said, but not a lot of context is given. So next week, tune in on Thursday. I'll put an invite out. I have an amazing guest, Karen Glasser, and she is from Little White Lie, and she is fantastic. We're going to talk about authenticity, specifically about how to nurture your community. So it's kind of an extension of what we've been talking about today in terms of, hey, I need to get my engagement back up. I'm seeing a dip. I'm seeing challenges in terms of that. Karen is going to rock our world in terms of the success that she has experienced building her brand. She's going to give you the origin of the story, Little White Lies, which is fantastic. If you want to know a little bit more about Karen, you can tune in next week, obviously, or I'll throw her Facebook handle up here a little bit. You can know a little bit more about the Little White Lie Network, where you can get an understanding of who she is. Let me throw that up there for you. Karen is amazing. She's going to join us next week. So if you can, that is on Thursday. It's a special day, special time, so we can make sure we accommodate for Karen, who is so popular in it. And so I wanted to make sure that we gave her the floor. So look for that invite now. Karen, again, is going to school us on building an authentic brand, nurturing your community. She's launched some amazing things for her brand, and she really is kind of a sage when it comes to this. So tune in next week for that. That really kind of wraps it up for my guest. If there's a couple of things you want to think about for 2018, content, which we've covered, video, collaboration, sort of brand discoverability, and Karen is going to get into authenticity and nurturing your network. Those are probably going to be those are the three biggest things we're seeing right now in 2018. Forget all the bells and whistles and algorithms and bots and all of that stuff. Just concentrate on continuing to tell your story, telling it authentically and being yourself, because you're going to be competing with every other talking head. Making conscious choices about the tools and how you tell that story, so video. And leveraging social media really for the social aspect that it is. So many of us sort of jump on here and want to sell stuff. We all have a bottom line to hit. We all have objectives, but social media is much more than a selling platform, and you're just as bored with those videos as I am. So just remember that there are a lot more ways to leverage social that you may have forgotten about, that actually go back to its genesis, it being a social platform. And I think you'll find that if you lean back into those three areas, you have a huge opportunity to stand out. Because I think there's going to be a lot of people, there's going to be a lot of copycats, because a lot of people are going to become very successful using video in this platform straight away. They're going to copy each other, and they're going to sort of forget what the fundamentals of connecting on social are. People just want to connect with humans, yes? So those are my predictions for 2018. Maybe Karen will school us a little bit on what she sees, and just stay focused. My last lesson really is like, don't be afraid to experiment too. I wouldn't have the insight I would have. I wouldn't be able to speak to the power of video right now if I hadn't run my experiment. I knew starting out, I pretty much had a gut feeling that I would see all of my engagement and my traffic and et cetera, increase. But I now have 30 days of data to literally back that up. So if you have time, run experiments. It's a great time of year to do that. You know, have fun, be creative. The holidays are coming up. Try a fun creative campaign. If it doesn't work, fine. You know, be strategic, tweak, tinker. Karen Newland last week told us about test. That's not just specific for advertising. It's really, you know, stretch the boundaries of what you're doing on social, even for your own just information and feedback, right? You can experiment just to experiment. Be brave, you know, try it out, right? And maybe the first thing you can do is shoot that Facebook Live video. I honestly, I expect to see everyone shooting those. Oh, and tag me, by the way, so that I can help promote that. The biggest thing for me right now, I think going into, well, it's big for 2017 and 2018 for me, and I'll leave you guys with this, is social media has its pros and cons. And if we can all use it to create positive change, so whether it's through our own connections, through our own business, you're enhancing your customers' lives, whatever, that's what helps me sleep at night. Social media is everyone talks about the internet being powerful. It's like the hive mind. Social media to me is even more powerful, because this is literally where we gather and we have the power to come together and create positive change, whatever that means to you. So I encourage everyone to, you know, if you're strategizing for 2018, or if you just want to start experimenting, if you need an idea, maybe just think about, okay, what's a positive impact I can make in my life and my business or my brand right now using social media. I'll use that as the tone for my experiment. Why not? Whether you're pushing product or driving donations, I think, you know, if you're spending your time creating positive change on social media, like attracts like, law of attraction, I'm a big subscriber to that. You will see things happen, right? Holidays, people want to create positive change. So that's a nice segue to that was just a natural segue to my ebook, which I actually forgot to link to, so I'll link to it now. How to Inspire Action on Social Media in 5 Simple Steps. You can download it here. I will put a comment right now in the comment box. If you haven't already, download it. It's totally free. And then what you are is you're then put on a special mailing list. I have some exciting news that I'm going to be rolling out in the next couple weeks around some really cool toolkits coming out. I have a new membership club coming out based purely on interest from you guys. So this is going to be a way that you can easily tick those boxes throughout the year and just keep your social media, keep your brand humming. That's not going to take a tremendous amount of time or tremendous amount of an investment. Before I forget, let me put that in the comments. Here is the link to my ebook. Again, tune in next week. We have Karen Glasser from Little White Lie Network. She is fantastic. You can also see me at here on Facebook if you're watching through YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram as well. I'll put my handle up for a second. Thanks for joining me today. It wasn't an actual interview format, but I wanted to, again, jump on early for you guys and talk to you about my experiment. So it's kind of down and dirty. It's for you guys. Honestly, I hear nobody talking about, everyone's talking about video, okay? And let me just jump back on this. Everyone's talking about video right now, but nobody's talking about experiments they've done. No, everyone seems to be doing the same thing. So again, now really is your time for you to get in touch with who you are, the story you want to tell, and just freaking be yourself. Don't be polished. Don't be perfect. Don't worry about the background. Just be yourself. Shoot video. Get value out to your audience. You're going to see engagement, because I literally just saw it through my experiment. So you guys, this honestly, I could have waited till January and done a nice puff piece on 2018 trends, but it's I wanted to make sure to get it to you, because if you can master this before the end of the year, you're going to be well ahead of everyone else. People are busy right now. People are thinking about, here in the States, they're thinking about turkey dinners, and they're thinking about staying with their family for the holidays and the anxiety around that. But you can actually be sitting here going, all right, I still got business to do. It's 2017. I'm not done with the year yet. So you have every opportunity to really create beautiful communities and create positive change. So that there, I'm off. I'm literally off my soapbox. So so we had a few people join us live. I know a lot of you guys are going to join me after. Let me know if any of this creates any questions for you. You can always tune in right here on Facebook. I am typically every week on Tuesdays. I'm really going to try to go a little earlier, again, to satisfy you guys both in the UK and in Europe and South Africa, because I'm based here in Los Angeles. So hi to everyone watching live, and then hi to everyone watching on the replay. You guys have been awesome. I've seen comments, likes, shares. I've seen you come over to other social media. It's fantastic. So what I'd love to see is if there is something specific you want me to talk about. Like, I've been spending a lot of time on social media the last couple of weeks, but actually a huge part of my business is talking about brand. So I want to do, I think in a couple of weeks, is a show about having a real conversation about creating a business. I get a lot of people every couple months, they're like, okay, I'm ready to start my business. I'm ready to create my brand. And then they disappear for a couple months. There are a lot of people out there right now that are in a position to actually consider creating a brand or a business that don't. And so I know we're coming up on New Year's resolutions. And so I know I'm going to get that flood of people again going, all right, Jessica, let's go. Let's create my brand and business. And then they're going to disappear for another 2-3 months. So if that is you, if you're running into that and running into challenges, I would love to make that a show before the end of the year so that we can actually get you going. We can talk about brand organics, which is my methodology, which honestly I should mention more. It's about holistic, authentic branding, which makes it super simple to tell your story and market your business going forward. But that's another show. So I'll leave you guys here. Again, thank you so much for watching Jessica Payne Live. I'm here every single week. Hello live. If you've been watching me, thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your comments and DMs over the past couple weeks. If you are interested in being a guest on my show, I'm always looking for guests. All I ask is that you are yourself, you're 100% authentic, and that you have something to speak to, either from your own business success, being an entrepreneur, running your own business, from a brand standpoint or a social media standpoint, or just an authenticity standpoint. We had an awesome guest, Arcelio Pompeo, a couple weeks ago, and she's a nurse comedian. She was hilarious. She's awesome. She is a perfect example of finding your niche. Yes? More guests like that. I would love that. Again, she is literally the physical embodiment that, yes, you can create success being yourself, no matter how unique that is, right? All right, you guys, so I'm going to sign off. Again, make sure if you haven't followed me on other social media channels, I'm on Instagram, which you can just link right through if you go to my website, which is jessicapayne.us. I will throw that up for you so you have it right here. You can follow me there where you can get a link to all of my social channels. And then make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel because I actually throw out a lot of videos out there that don't make it here on Facebook. All right, you guys. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll look forward to your comments. Have a wonderful day. Shoot that Facebook Live video if you haven't already. And leave a comment. Let me know if this show works for you. Let me know if you're enjoying it. And of course, what you'd like to see from me coming forward. And stay tuned next week for Karen and Little White Lie Network. We are going to get schooled, I think, on nurturing communities. All right, you guys have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Take care.